Aragorn is a powerful commander, but with these 13 cards, you don't just become the Monarch. You're using it as protection, removal, and whenever you lose the crown, you get it straight back. And all of a sudden, the game becomes a question. Can anyone hold the Monarch except for you? A quick reminder that whenever Aragorn enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch, and then whenever you attack, if you are the Monarch, all creatures become unblockable. And this built-in win con here is the reason you want cards that give you the Monarch straight back. An Azure Fleet Admiral does just that. Whenever this human pirate enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch, and then this card can't be blocked by creatures the Monarch controls. So whenever this creature's on the battlefield, you have a guaranteed way to get the Monarch back. And a creature that has a similar effect is Canal Courier, because this card not only gives you the Monarch whenever it enters the battlefield, but whenever this creature and another creature attack different players, this creature cannot be blocked this combat. So in a 4-player game of Commander, you're almost always guaranteed to get the Monarch back as long as you attack with 2 or more creatures. Then this next card, Denethor Stoneseerer, is a 2-drop human noble that whenever it enters the battlefield, you get to scry to, but then the bottom activated ability here, where you can pay 3 in a red and tap it and sacrifice this card, target player becomes the Monarch, and this card deals 3 damage to any target. And Throne of the High City is another way you can pay 4, tap it and sacrifice this card to become the Monarch. These 2 cards are fantastic because you can sacrifice them just before your combat phase at instant speed. And one of my favorite spells in this selection of cards has literally saved me from so many losses, and that is Archon of Coronation. Because not only is it a 5/5 flyer that whenever it enters the battlefield you become the Monarch, but whilst you're the Monarch, damage doesn't cause you to lose life. That is absolutely bonkers. I can't tell you how many times this card has saved my skin in the game, but just be aware that whenever you are dealt damage, you will lose the Monarch, but you just won't lose the life. So if a creature hits you with double strike on that first strike damage, you lose the Monarch, then the rest of the damage is dealt as normal. But regardless, this is an insanely good card. Just like this next card, Champions of Minas Tirith. This card gives you some ultimate protection, because at the beginning of combat on each opponent's turn, if you're the Monarch, that opponent must pay X, where X is the number of cards in their hand. If they don't, they can't attack you this combat. This has saved me on so many different occasions because people just want to play their spells on their turns, and they often forget to leave up the mana. So then when they attack you, you just gently remind them, sorry bro, you can't do that unless you pay 3 mana because you've got 3 cards in your hand. And then they go, bugger. And another great protection spell to have in this deck is Protection of the Crown, because Protector of the Crown says that all damage that will be dealt to you is dealt to Protector of the Crown instead. And if you find a way to give this bad boy indestructible, then you can't be dealt damage and this can't die. Just a little tip for you there. This next creature card, Faramir Steward of Gondor, is a legendary creature human noble that says whenever a legendary creature with mana value 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you become the Monarch. And then at the beginning of your end step, if you're the Monarch, create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens. This is a great card to continuously keep the Monarch, but not only that, those 1/1 chump blockers really do come in handy. Then Fealty to the Realm is an enchantment aura where you can enchant a creature, then when this card enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. Then the Monarch controls enchanted creature. An enchanted creature attacks each combat they're able to and can't attack you. So this aura is both protection and theft. Let's say you enchant a big 20/20 orc army, you then get that orc army, but then if someone else becomes the Monarch, they then get that orc army, but that orc army cannot attack you, which is insanely good. Now we're getting on to the last card of this category of protection, and that is Ember Wild Captain. This is both burn and protection, because whenever an opponent attacks you whilst you're the Monarch, this card will deal damage to that player equal to the number of cards in their hand. This card really comes in clutch late game, because let's say your opponents have like 10 life and 3 cards in hand, they start to weigh up the cost of whether they want to attack you and lose their life, or just attack an opponent and keep their life total at 10. So unless they think they can really take you out the game, all of that little trickle damage ends up going elsewhere. Now we're into the last category for the final 3 cards, and this is removal. We're going to kick us off with Palace Jailer. Whenever Palace Jailer enters the battlefield, you get to exile a target creature an opponent controls until an opponent becomes the Monarch. This is a really fun political card to play, because you can say to the group, who's the biggest threat right now? And they all start throwing each other under the bus, and it's really fun to watch from the outside. And then when you do decide to exile a target creature, you can say to the other players, look, lay off me for a turn or 2, because you don't want to become the Monarch, or they will get their creature back. then you only have to think of one player attacking you and protecting yourself from one player for a couple of turns, which is really, really great for you. Now we're on to the penultimate card in this list, which is Éomer, King of Rohan. King of Rohan does a lot. He has double strike, and this card enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter for each other human you control. And then whenever this card enters the battlefield, target player becomes the Monarch, and Éomer deals damage equal to its power to any target. And if you find a way to blink this bad boy, you have target removal over and over again. And the final card in this list is Fall from Favor, which is another Enchantment Aura. You enchant a creature, then whenever Fall from Favor enters the battlefield, tap enchanted creature and you become the Monarch. Then enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step unless that player is the Monarch. Fall from Favor is an awesome card because it just taps out the biggest threat at the table for you, and when you have a plethora of ways to keep the Monarch, then that creature does not untap until the end of the game. And if you want to see the full deck list to this video, then make sure to click the description. And if you've ever fancied yourself building a massive orc army with Saruman the White Hand, then make sure to click on this video next, because it's insanely powerful and insanely good fun, and I look forward to seeing you there. Peace out, guys.